Hey everyone, Michael the Graph Paper Architect here with more tabletop thoughts for you. And on this episode, we are going to be discussing division in our hobby, division in gaming in general. Could also be somewhat allegorical to division in general, maybe. Some of the things we're going to discuss, as well as the use of AI in gaming, in entertainment, media, all that kind of stuff. So stick around. We're going to have some fun discussions with this. If you want to join in on the discussion and be part of the show, definitely like and subscribe. Leave me some comments. We will do some shows about responding to comments and having discussions, as well as live streams where you can get involved in the chat. I will be live streaming everywhere. I have managed to get this thing to work. I am going to be primarily on YouTube, but I will also be streaming on X and Kick and Twitch and Rumble, and I'll also be providing all of this in an audio format as well. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, it's going to be, Spotify and anything else that I can somewhat put together on here. So we're going to go ahead and do this discussion. We will be talking about, as I was saying there, yeah. You know what? I try to do these in one shot, because I don't have a whole lot of time. I honestly don't. I'm like, sitting here going, my gosh, it's going to take, 30 minutes to do the recording. Then it's going to take another who knows how long for me to get my internal editor in my mind to shut the hell up and let me just do the thing, It reminds me of a picture I once saw, a meme that said, do the thing, get it done. And it's just a circle that's not drawn very well. And then it says, and then once it's done, then you can make it good. So have another circle that's good, really good. And so some of these are going to be that, because I really do push to get them done without edits. I appreciate your patience with me, and I will attempt to not stammer and yammer too much. So first of all, division in gaming, division in society, division everywhere. Unfortunately, it does seem to be very, very prevalent. And what really sparked me the thought on this, for this tabletop thought, was that I came across a video. It's called The Cake Theory by The Grimm. And, also, I should let you know, this episode is going to be primarily audio. I just wasn't able to really put together a whole lot. I needed to get this done. So you could probably minimize me, listen to me. Maybe you're driving, whatever. Don't worry about it. We're not going to have a lot of visuals on this episode. So I will just tell you all the things. We have The Cake Theory by The Grimm. And so look it up on YouTube. I highly recommend it. It's got a gentleman on there. Looks like I don't know, Russian mobster type guy. It's cool. And what it is, and I'll read you a little summary here. It says that it compares your circle of friends to a whole birthday cake. So that's the general idea. We're talking about how many people do you even have in your life, or friends, acquaintances, or whatever. That's your whole cake, your whole set of people. And then through political polarization, online algorithms, referred to as the Suki. So in their video, they talk about the Suki did this and the Suki did that. And it took me a minute, because I was like, are they talking about some Japanese anime or something? What what's going on? I had no clue. But it turns out that that's what they call it in their show, is that the Suki, the people that are making the decisions, to pull the strings, to put out the stories, to put out whatever is going on, that helps create the division. And so this Suki successfully slices and divides the cake through the conflicts, whether they're manufactured or real. And then this process eventually leads the individual isolated and alone with a tiny, tiny piece of cake. And I thought, wow, holy cow, that's, what I see in the online discourse in gaming. It's been going on for a very long time. And this is not something new, obviously. I mean, people are divided over all kinds of stuff. Something comes along the news, and there's going to be division. There's going to be people who think this is a great idea. This is a terrible idea. Your representative is terrible. My representative is wonderful. Lots of stuff that we could dive into. That's a rabbit hole that we're not really going to go down this time. But what it is in relation to gaming is that you see, so we have games, right? I mean, back in the day, I'm Gen X for anybody who isn't looking at my face on here, that's just listening to me on, any kind of podcast. Things were a little different back then in the gaming world. Grew up into it, and I was, brought, I was young when I started. And you had to, for one, you had to go down to the physical space. We didn't have online spaces. So that was one thing that was very different. You had to go there to the comic book shop or meet people that you had a face-to-face connection. That made it different. We were young, we were kids, and we all just wanted to play games. That was different. The climate back then of games and gaming and people that played games, especially Dungeons and Dragons, was very, very different. And so the division that we faced was more of an us versus the world, really. I mean, it was satanic panic. It was bullying. It was bad. And I was, I guess you could call textbook. I think they use the word tropes now. Whatever. I was, probably 98 pounds soaking wet. Metallica t-shirt, ripped up whatever jeans. Well, I didn't rip the jeans up, you get in trouble for that. But I would had that and a mullet because, of course, I was trying to pull off the Keith mullet from Voltron, and didn't go very well. My hair is not. I don't have super thick hair to be able to pull off a super awesome badass mullet. It was kind of stringy, but I did for a long time. I thought I was awesome. So I had a mid-back mullet going on, and yeah, right. So turtle shell framed glasses, whatever. That's the image, just to give you a little picture. And I was into theater. I loved going to auditions and being in theater and being involved in that. That's why I also have a huge problem with the pejorative theater kids. That's a whole nother episode. So be staying tuned for that. Be staying tuned. See, I told you. I warned you folks. I'd try to really just get this done, and I will say some things that do not make a lot of sense sometimes. It would be like, what language is that? That's not even Klingon. What do you say? I was a nerd. I love nerdy things. I was into Star Trek. I would wear Star Trek pins to school in high school, and all that kind of stuff. And I was into Dungeons and Dragons. And during that time of my life, Dungeons and Dragons was seriously a problem. I got hauled into, the counselor's office and told, hey, this is causing disruptions in class, and we have other students that don't even want to be in the same classroom as you now because they think that you are worshiping the devil and your Metallica t-shirts are bothering them and the stuff is going on. So that sort of thing has been going on for a lot. It may be more now in some areas, but it was bad, and got beat up, shoved into lockers, bounced off of stuff, beat downs trying to get to my Dungeons and Dragons books. It was bad. Where am I going with this? The division at the time, at least in my experience, and I think in a lot of other people's experience, was that we were gamers. We had our niche, and everybody else was everybody else, and they didn't understand us, and they didn't understand what we were doing, and they had some genuine, heartfelt concerns over what we were doing with the whole Satan thing. That was the division, us versus them, and that formed a bond within the gaming community, again, in my experience, that created an environment of, hey, what are you playing? Oh, we're playing Car Wars, or we're playing D&D, or we're playing, in whatever it was, Traveler, whatever, anything that we were playing. It didn't matter. You were playing something. We were doing stuff. There wasn't a console war, because what did we have? We had Atari, we had Nintendo. There wasn't a whole lot of consoles to come out to have a console war. So we didn't have that really big, bad, division as well. Let's tie all this back into the cake theory. You have your cake. Okay, fine. So we have a gaming community. Let's say we have gaming culture. Everybody's in the cake that is a gamer. Do you play, tabletop, video games, board games, any kind of games, anything that's a game, even if it's just chess or checkers or cards or poker or whatever. It is a game. People can game and come together as a community as gamers. And we start slicing this cake up. The first big one that I was privy to was console wars. Oh, your Xbox, oh, your Nintendo, and your PlayStation, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And I'm going, okay, well, why does it matter? Everybody's a freaking video gamer, Oh, you play Nintendo, you just a little crybaby. Me. Oh, I play Xbox and I go online and I shoot people and it's whatever. And you don't even want to know what Xbox Live was like back in the day. Wow. Oh my goodness. People could really cut loose, I will say, and say some really horrible, atrocious, god-awful things. That's going to be another episode. We're going to discuss some of the things that I looked into when I was, researching cultivation theory, when I was researching internet anonymity, some of the things that go on for people psychologically when they have pure anonymity, and whether or not they will be just atrocious. I mean, the only really analogy that I have to that is booze. And I did a lot of first responding, and I did a lot of work on that. And I tell you, there's folks that I knew that were they're great till they drink the wrong kind of booze. And for whatever reason, that particular chemical makeup of that particular brand or type of booze would flip them over, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde on crack. It's pretty crazy how things can go. And it seems to me that the internet can do that to folks. Another episode. Yeah, hopefully you'll tune in for that one too. So what are we talking about? We've got the cake. We've got the division. We've got people being divided. We've got gamers deciding to turn on gamers. And for me, when I grew up, it was like, this doesn't make any sense to my brain. I do not understand this. Grew up Gen X, as I was saying. So to me, and thankfully in my environment for my family, all of that kind of stuff made all sense hand in glove. Mr. Rogers and all of the different, public service announcements from the shows. And, it's like none of that mattered. I never understood when people were racist or prejudiced. I didn't get it. I'm like, I honestly did not understand it at all because I didn't have that built into my wiring. So I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. Or oh, they are worshiping something else. Why should I care about that? They have different colored skin. I don't care. The dudes kissing dudes, girls kissing girls. I don't care. Did not compute. And it caused a lot of problems for me, personally, because everybody else cared. Most people cared, and they didn't understand why I didn't care. And they thought, oh, you're with them. And I'm like, I'm not with anyone. I'm here to roll dice and be a dwarf and play and have the fun. So I didn't get it. So I told you, sometimes we'll go down little rabbit holes. Come back to the gaming. We have gaming. We have division. Gamers are now turning on gamers. Okay, your Xbox, your Nintendo, da. So we cut the cake. Now it's even smaller. And the point being is that the cake represents the number of people that you have in your life that you can do things with, that you're enjoying yourself with. So as a gamer, now you've cut your cake down. Now you can only hang out with Xboxers. Oh, okay. Well, now cut that again. Now you can only hang out with people who play shooters. Okay, great. Now I can go to my buddies and be like, dude, I'm trying to figure out this puzzle in Myst. And they go, well, you're a dork. You're a nerd. Pick up a rifle and then go online. Blah, blah, blah. Right? I mean, okay. We have more division. And we have more division and division. Let's go and cut this back down to tabletop. Because we talk about tabletop, and this is TableTop Thoughts. I had to come up with a title somehow. I can't just call it the Graph Paper Architect Rambles About Gaming Miasma. That would not work. You have to have some sort of specificity. You got to know you're eating cake. It's like, this is a cake store. You will get cake. It is not the everything of everything. Boy, can you imagine that? How we're all kind of we have choice paralysis nowadays. You flip on Netflix, you go, I don't know what I want to watch. 30 minutes later, I don't know what I want to watch. Another 30 minutes later, whatever, or you go into a restaurant. What would it be like if you had a replicator restaurant, right? You're Star Trek, obviously, and you have this replicator restaurant, of course, and it can do literally anything. What kind of choice paralysis are you going to have? You're going to be sitting there, in line going, come on, let's go. It's already bad enough when you all you got to choose from is burgers, fries, and a shake. But now it's like, dude, anyhow, I'm digressing again. We'll get back to the real issue at hand. Division in gaming. And it's very, very sad. And I don't see it very much in real life. Maybe that's somewhat of the Conan philosophy that civilized people, or that civilized men can be more discourteous than barbarians because, you're not going to get your head cracked open being, not civilized. I'm paraphrasing. So when you're in person, people don't tend to be that way. You go down to the comic book shop and there's tables, there's areas, you can see them. They're like, we play this is what we play. Da, 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 da. And you don't walk up to the you can talk to Warhammers about, D&D because there's a little bit of crossover there. And you can do a little crossover with the magic and, if they're playing that kind of thing, but you wouldn't really go over and talk about, I used this gambit maneuver to pin this guy's bishop and therefore went and took out his queen or something. It's, there's a little bit more division there. But point being is that in person, it's not very as much. There is some, but it's not as much. But online, when you put in that going online anonymity booze fuel of turning people into rampaging maniacs, it's like, what the hell is even going on, Would you go to a normal comic book store and go down there and go up to somebody and be like, are you using encumbrance? No? And you flip their table. You're not playing right. You're ruining the game. You're ruining the hobby. You're destroying everything. And it's just blah, blah. Would you do that? Really? In real life? I mean, wow. But I see this stuff going on online all the time, and I'm going, I don't understand. Again, I have that problem. I have the same problem. I've got version war blindness or race blindness or whatever blindness. I don't get it. I'm like, why do you care if they use encumbrance and you don't, or they use, alignment and you don't, or they have this or they have that and you don't? It doesn't make any sense. The idea of division in gaming, like version wars in Dungeons and Dragons, rules differences in Dungeons and Dragons, why does it even matter, And it's sad for me to see these different camps forming on the internet and I don't understand it either because I am unplugged. So if any of you want to jump into the comments and you want to educate me, please do without a wall of text. Just keep it succinct. And please also have references and use reference points and point me at things if you're like, this is the way it is and it's because of this, and send me an article. Maybe Gary wrote something, whatever, and have it be something legit. Please do not wall of text me. I can't do that. And I see these folks go on there and they break off into camps and they tribalize, and then they get their flags and they put whatever they put on their flags. And I don't really know all of the different things that they put on the flags. And I don't want to seem like I'm calling out certain groups, but there are groups that play certain ways, like rules as written, and that's it. And if you don't do that, then you're a scummy tourist. Okay. There's other people that are, let's say, the other side of the spectrum. They say everything is foo-foo fantasy, frilly, whatever, and everybody can be anything and anything can be anything, and it's all just a make-believe. And you go, well, but what about the game? There's no rules. There's no structure. There's no limits. Everything can be whatever. So I could be a, you know, fairy dragon that runs around and farts rainbows and candy at my enemies, and that's how I, do things, but they don't actually kill them because I'm nice, and so they eat the candies and rainbows, and then they become my friends, and now everybody's my friend, and there's no longer any kind of conflict or anything, and it's all whatever happy. I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling just a little bit, but my original premise of the whole thing was that I see this division. What I don't see a whole lot of, and I want to see more of, is inclusion, meaning that you see somebody online and maybe they are doing something different or something. You're going, hey, let me show you how we do it. And if they don't like it, fine. They don't like it. At least they're still gaming. At least they're still a gamer gaming and playing, because gaming in and of itself, and this is what I'm championing here, should be the environment that invites everyone. And it should be an environment that provides a place where people can come together rather than send them apart. Because what's the point of gaming if you're not going to have that kind of outcome? You could have people that have completely different views, completely different languages, completely different sociologies, completely different everything. But they both know how to play checkers, or they both know how to play chess, or they both know how to play something simple, or they can sit down and they don't even need to communicate. They don't need to talk. I don't need to be able to speak your language to understand, oh, that pawn is there. I know what that means. This knight is over here. I know what that means. And you can look at them and you can go, oh, hey, okay, all right, we're having fun. We're playing a game. It's a game. I want to see some more inclusion in that respect, that we can begin to shed these, or just not care about these differences. And it is very difficult because we have been taught, unfortunately, by media and whatever's, that it's all super important, and the people, the dehumanization of people, because it's oh, you believe this, therefore you are a this and 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 a this. But this is a human being. They are so multifaceted and so varied in everything that they can do. You could very easily have a human that is, in one respect completely conservative, in one respect completely liberal, in one respect completely neutral, in one respect whatever. I mean, I don't know. That's my thing. I want to see these divisions start to heal in gaming. That's part of their thing. The cake theory on the Grimm show that I wanted to share, because their idea is that you can begin to find commonality, find a way to reach out to folks that have been cut off, or cut things off, or you cut things off, or they cut things off. I have an alarm. Shouldn't have that on right now. Sorry about that. And you can reach out again and say, hey, you know what? There's this new game. Let's try this. Maybe we could all come together and play this game or that game. And maybe we can just shut the hell up and be gamers and just play rather than separate. But if being separate is cool, if separate is what you want, if you want to be in your pool with your people and don't have anybody else in your pool, that's fine. Great. You do you. You go ahead. You go ahead and do all of that. I think everybody should be able to play the way they want, do what they want, game the way they want, game as you wish. That was something that I came up with. And yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to go with this episode. And cake theory, I think it's kind of amazing to consider that we are being divided. People are being divided. People are being dehumanized. We're being told, if you believe this, if you like that, you are bad. you are whatever. And to me, it just hit that same chord. I'm like, I've heard this before. You play Dungeons and Dragons. You're a devil worshipping little scumbag, blah, blah, blah. You're probably out killing cats and things and done it. And I'm like, no, no. You know? So I've heard these arguments before. And let's see, getting close to time. We can talk about a couple other things if we really wanted to. I know this was pretty heavy. This one was a pretty heavy show. But the thing is this. I have a best friend that tells me that I need to do these shows. And I started off, you can see on my YouTube channel, I wanted to teach things I knew. I wanted to share things. Hey, I know how to whiteboard. I know how to mind map. I have all of these other experiences and I have this expertise and I want to help people have good stuff in their lives, and I will share my expertise. And it didn't come across kind of dry, but that was where I was going. But instead, we're going to talk. We're going to discuss things. We're going to bring up topics. I want to interact with you. I want you to like, subscribe, share. Please send it out to anybody that's important to you, and get involved. I do a lot of my best work when I have someone to talk with, which is great. I think we should all talk together. We should all be able to do these things together. And I'm desperately trying to remember what I talked about at the beginning of this broadcast. What did I say? We were going to talk about, I have my notes. I keep looking at my notes. Cake theory, division in gaming. Oh, maybe we're going to talk about AI, maybe? We could talk a little bit about that. Sure, why not? Anything that I ever did in my life has been a jump in, trial by fire, terrifying at the beginning. This is terrifying. Hopefully I'm making it look easy and I can just talk and things are good, but it can be kind of scary. So where I'm going with that is, let's jump on big hot topics. AI, using AI, and specifically for art. I'm not going to talk about using AI for written word, which is very sad to me as well, because I also would like to be a narrative designer and make money doing that. It's always been a dream of mine, and I've submitted a lot of materials and had them used, some here and there, but it's never come to any really fruition. And now I find that we're using AI to generate quests in games. And I'm not going to name the games because I'm not going to call out people, because it's, and it's being used in MMOs that I play, and it's being used in games that I'm looking forward to. But at the same time, I'm also really sort of frustrated that we're going to be doing that it's going to be that interacting with NPCs and actual quest generation. And dude, I'm sick and tired of my jobs being taken by things. I've been automated out. I've been outsourced out. I've lost three career tracks from stuff being like, oh, somebody else is going to do it cheaper, better, faster, or the machine will do it. It's like, dude, come on. But I also have to admit that people are trying to get things done. They're trying to start their own businesses. They're trying to be indie developers. They're just using the tools that they have. I can't really begrudge a person who comes up in the world and is, oh, I have these AI tools and I can do this and this is what I do. And they don't have a clue because they haven't been out here for 30 years getting, tossed around like a kite in the wind, and beat down and lose jobs. And you're just sitting there going, well, that career's dead now. Great. Now what am I doing? Well, I'm back to flipping burgers. I'm back to doing whatever I'm doing to try to stay alive. They don't know. So try not to come at somebody too hard for using AI. Try to talk to them. Get them to understand what exactly these things are doing. What is the AI doing, and how are they using it? This is a big thing. And I know we're getting close to the end of the show here. So again, come on in, drop some comments, get going. You can find me on X. You can find me on YouTube. That's primarily where I am. I'm also on Facebook, but I'm not on there very often, and I am easy to find. Let's talk. Let's get this going. But where are we at? AI. For one, the AI witch hunt for images needs to stop. It needs to stop. unless you are a digital forensic expert that can sit there and take apart the metadata inside of a file and specifically for a court of law be able to show with your expertise that this particular image was absolutely made by AI and here is the proof that is good enough for a court of law, then you need to shut your pie hole. You do. That's one thing I'm going to say right now. Second part about using AI is that you got to try to talk to these people that are doing it if they don't know any better, that it's out there just scraping and using other stuff. I mean, there's a difference between building an AI engine. I know one guy, it's a buddy of mine, and I have to talk to him about it to see what he did. He says he used AI to generate his product, but he put all of his own assets in this AI, so it only used his own assets. And I go, well, that's freaking cool, man. What, could I have my own box that's not on the internet, that doesn't get from anybody else, and I feed it all of my own stuff? And I go, okay, magic box of my own stuff that I didn't get from anybody else, make me something. That's pretty freaking cool. I guess that's a thing, check into that. Or get them to understand that when you go on the internet and say, draw me a dragon, and it goes all of the dragons everywhere that were ever drawn, that have ever happened, that were ever put together. And then it takes, these ones are popular and these ones are not, so they're probably going to like these ones better. And then it goes, okay, this is what they're probably going to like. So they scrape up all of the most popular, best dragons ever, probably like Easley and Elmore and some of the other greats. And it goes, here's a dragon. Blam. And you're going, oh, that looks really cool because I've seen it around and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. And using AI responsibly, that's another big one. I know we're at the half-hour mark, and I apologize. We're going to run just a little over today, but I do want to get this last piece out because I use AI responsibly. My company uses AI responsibly. How do you use it responsibly? Here's my personal take. First of all, you're transparent about it. You say, this is how we use it. This is what we do with it. And if I don't say anything else, then we don't use it for other things. We don't use it in our products because I want to create jobs. That's my personal beef with the AI. I want to make jobs. I want to hire artists. I want to hopefully make money, and I want to make the money and give it to the artist so the artist can then go down to the grocery store and buy food. That's me. And I'm not going to harp on anybody who doesn't want to do that. Fine. I use it to make the thumbnails for these shows. I do. Because, quite honestly, taking a picture of myself going, hi, hey, it's me, I'm a graph paper architect, watching my show, and I'm like, nah, and I go and I tend to put it into Photoshop, and 30 minutes later, or however long it takes me to cough up a title, and what am I going to do? I'll go text tool, and I'll just put the title on there, but it doesn't get any hits, it doesn't generate any views, nobody's interested in it. So you make something that's going to get people's attention. You have to, and you put that on there. Hey, wow, that looks kind of cool. Let's check it out. Let's give it a listen. Let's give it a look. That's what it's about. And it's disposable. It's never going to be used again. It's not as though it goes into a pages of a product. As I said, I'll never do that. So that's some of my beef on AI. We'll talk about that a whole lot more coming up. We're going to talk about a lot of other things. For those of you in the know, I am going to be talking about the Elven Maid Inn. We're going to be talking about other dungeon tubers, YouTubers. I don't know if they're dungeon tubers or not. I want you to check out Agranac Studios. I am a cult member. He is awesome. TM Wisdom is awesome. All of it is awesome. Check it out. I wanted to talk about Talking in the Library with Jack on the other side of the pond. Even though he's a proper British, I can't even do it now, but whatever. I'm a Yank. He's a Brit. We'll fight. He's great. He's great. Go over there, check him out. I am currently a co-host for the Nerd Cognito Speak Easy and Big Show with Ryan David, and I tell you what, that has been fantastic. I really appreciate that very much. I appreciate the Nerd Cognito Nation. I appreciate Kanik. Hey Kanik, how you doing? Hey, and Emmy and everybody out there. And Ryan and I will fight. because Ryan will say something. I'm like, no. Or I'll say something and he's like, you're on drugs. And we have a good time, but we're nerds at the end. And that's the point, that part of the point I'm making. Dude, we're gamers. We can game. We could sit there and game all day long. He and I could have gotten into a full-on knockdown, drag out, freaking fight about something. And then you'd be like, okay, dude, whatever. When do we start? When do we? Okay, we're starting in 10 minutes. Fine. I'm going to go drink some water. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to game. And we game and we have fun. And then when it's done and the adrenaline's down, we come back and we can talk. But, so we've gone a few minutes over. I really appreciate everybody sticking with me. Thank you very much. This is a big first episode of Graph Paper Architect, nerd stuff, culture stuff, life stuff. We will talk about just about anything on here. We'll get into the weeds a bit, but we'll always come back around to make some points. Check out Cake Theory of the Grim. I like that YouTube. Thank you very much. I hope that everyone has a fantastic, wonderful day. And until next time, friends, good journey.